I'm gonna be so real. I kind of stand that bald freak. And we'll get to him. We'll get to my boy shortly. But first, hello. I am Simon. And last night I watched every episode of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, minus the finale. The finale's not out yet, as of me sitting here, so I have not seen the finale, but I have seen the first 5 episodes. And in the long-running habit that I have, I'm here to talk about my silly little TV shows because I do have thoughts and feelings. Let's do some context. Let's do some backstory. Here's the thing. Last year, I watched Game of Thrones for the first time. I'd never seen Game of Thrones before, so me and the bestie watched most of it, and then I finished it on my own. But I didn't like it very much. That was my controversial Game of Thrones stance, is that I didn't like it very much. I made a whole video about it. I'll put it in the description. But everyone under the sun has told me that Game of Thrones is the best show ever created. And it's not. I would maybe on its best day put it in the top 20. It's not top 10. I can tell you it is not top 10. I didn't like it very much. And then fast forward to like 2 weeks ago when everyone started really talking about A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms and everyone was telling me how good it is, and I was getting deja vu. However, I am a freak for the culture. I need to know what's going on. I'm gonna watch the fucking Wuthering Heights movie, even though I've read the book and liked the book, which means presumably I'm gonna fucking hate that movie. I'm gonna watch it anyway. I need to know what's going on. Okay, I need to understand the discussions that are happening around me. Even if I'm not contributing, I need to know the context. So last night, I got home from work, and I was like, fuck it. There are 5 episodes. I can knock this shit out. So I watched it all. And it's actually pretty good. My biggest complaint about A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is actually very different than the one I have from Game of Thrones. The one I have from Game of Thrones is that Game of Thrones is not good. But for The Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, my biggest complaint is simply the comedy. I don't know who the audience for this show is, right? Because everyone fucking watched Game of Thrones. I could probably hit you with every demographic of anyone over the age of 13, and they were watching Game of Thrones. So, I don't know what the demographic is for A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, because the show is not for kids. And then a lot of the humor feels like it's for kids. Like, the scene that I'm thinking of specifically is in episode 5 or 4. It's episode 4. In episode 4, when Duncan does, like, his whole spiel, and he's like, who's gonna fight with, like, in the arena, he's like, who's gonna fight with me, who's gonna stand up for doing what's right, blah, 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 and then the really big man stands up, and then he farts, and everyone laughs. There's a fart joke that canonically is the funniest thing that happens in this show. And I'm sitting here, as I saw cock in episode 2. There's ass throughout this show. They swear the whole time. It's not a show for kids. And yet within the first 5 minutes of this show, I am seeing what I can only describe as explosive projectile diarrhea. Aside from that, though, I do actually think the show is funny. Mind you, I was actually amused, which means it's time to talk about my son. I want to talk about Mr. Egg. I love that bald freak. Okay, he showed up in episode 1. Mind you, I knew he was Aegon Targaryen the whole time, because I'm on Twitter. That did get spoiled for me. I do also firmly believe I would have figured it out, because at some point in, like, episode 2, when they're like, we're missing a child. And I'm like, I wonder if we have a culturally significant child who could be a Targaryen that we would know about, because he's bald. I do think I would have figured it out, and I would hope that some others did. But either way, I knew he was a Targaryen going in. However, that's my boy. That's my freak. He's so funny. I think he's the best part. Okay, do we remember that brief stint, like right when The Mandalorian and The Bad Batch came out, and everyone was like, Star Wars shows are only good when there's a weird parental-child relationship? That might be true for Game of Thrones too. I haven't seen House of the Dragon. Don't tell me what goes on there. I don't know what's going on over there. But for Game of Thrones and A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, the vibe between Dunk and Egg is so fun. I'm having so much fun with them. Episode 1, admittedly, is not very good. To me. To me, episode 1 is not very good because it's very Game of Thronesy, and as we've established, I didn't like Game of Thrones very much. So I wasn't super big on episode 1. Once Egg and Dunk are just vibing the whole time, I'm having the time of my life. I'm having a great time. Those two are my best friends. Do they want like a third pal? I'll just join in. I'll watch the horses and sit in the corner quietly. I don't give a fuck. I just want to be there. Actually, on the topic of Dunk, I do like Dunk. I do like Mr. Duncan, Sir Duncan the Tall. I should full name him. He is Sir Duncan the Tall. I do like him. He's kind of, how do I want to put this? He's a benevolent himbo. I actually feel like this is a very good way to describe him. He's a benevolent himbo, but like he's fun. He's good. Did I like his weird infatuation with the girl whose name I already forgot? No, I did not. I don't trust Game of Thrones to do romance, frankly. Because I was thinking about this the other day, because Game of Thrones has been all over my timeline recently. I'm pretty sure every major female character is sexually assaulted in Game of Thrones, with the sole exception of Arya Stark. Don't quote me. That's not true. That's not true. But the ones who make it to the last season, I do believe it's all of them are raped at least once, and for at least a few of them several times. We're getting distracted. The point is, I don't trust Game of Thrones to do a romance arc, and I was very glad they didn't, like, really follow through on the romance. I appreciated that, because they don't do it well. I also don't like any of the good ships in Game of Thrones. Like, the ships that the people like, I don't think there was a single het romance in that show that I was compelled by. So, either way, it's just, I'm glad they didn't lock in with the romance, but I'm glad we got backstory. We got an explanation. I do think it was a good explanation. I think seeing Duncan's backstory was good. I liked it. I think it was a lot. It reminds me of that brief stint where like 3 different shows in real time were all doing flashback episodes in like rapid succession. Wasn't one of them The Penguin? I'm getting distracted again. We need to refocus. The point is, I liked it, but I think the flashback sequence was a little long. Actually, let's talk about the other characters that I want to talk about. Let's talk about the blonde freak. I don't remember his name, but it's like, I don't want to say the main villain, per se. The one that the girls are horny for. Hey, chat. Are we okay? Because, that man sucks. So bad. His entire time in the show has done nothing but piss me off. I don't like him. Y'all are just horny for blonde men. And I don't know how to tell this to you. There are blonde men who are good people. So maybe we seek those guys out. Because this man sucks. I saw a tweet where it was like, I need him to kiss boys. And I'm like, I need him to die. I need him in the ground. I hate that man. That man annoys me. That man drives me crazy. I can't believe that there's an episode where a literal child is like, yeah, my brother threatened to literally cut my dick off and rape the hole. And everyone's like, okay, but like he's hot. Like, no. No, we're not doing that. That man sucks and he needs to die. The last character I want to talk about is Baelor. I really like him. His voice, I know I just went on a monologue about how we need more than just like a hot man, but Baelor is also a good person, so I'm allowed to say that he's hot. Okay, his voice is so calm and soothing in a way that I genuinely find very sexy. I think he's really hot. I feel like I'm gonna get judged for this, but it's true. I like that man. That man is so good. I know there's no way to do it. I want a spinoff that's just that man for like 8 seasons. Okay, I just want 8 seasons. Does he have a podcast? I should look into if he has a podcast. I think I would get into it. I'm not a podcast girl, but I think I could do it for him. Because his voice, I feel like Game of Thrones is very big on, here's an evil person. And for what it's worth, they're very good at writing evil people. Like people who just suck across the board. They're good at that. George R.R. Martin is very good at that. However, I think we need to really praise them when they write someone who seems like a good person. Because I don't think there are any good people in Game of Thrones. Everyone in Game of Thrones kind of sucks. So, like, I like Baelor. I really liked him, and I'm really mad because I'm like 99% sure that he's dead. What else do I want to talk about with this show while we're here? I did see on Twitter, someone involved was like, yeah, there's going to be like 15 seasons of this show. And I'm like, that's really funny. Can I give my personal crack theory, actually? Because this is what it reminds me of. It reminds me of when, like, the Harry Potter series got announced. and they were like, there's going to be 10 seasons, and everyone alive was like, no, there's not. My theory is Percy Jackson is not making it to season 5. Percy Jackson is not making it to season 5. I do believe that season 3 will come out, and then I believe that will be the last season. I don't think that show's making it to season 5. And that's how I feel when someone's like, we have 15 seasons of the show. Like, let's go day by day. Okay? Let's give it some time to maybe, because like, what are you gonna do on season 15 of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms? I get that the seasons are 6 episodes, so like, you're realistically not doing much. That is actually another thing about the show, is that not anything really happens in this show. Admittedly, it is not the vibes I was expecting. I was expecting those two to be fucking around across Westeros. I didn't think the entire thing would be like one weekend. I am enjoying my time though, so I guess I can't complain either way, but like, I guess you could do like one-off, whatever. My point is, let's not do 15 seasons of a show. I stand by that network television was superior to whatever the fuck is going on with TV now, where it takes you 3 years to make 8 episodes. But like, maybe there's a middle ground where we do like, for starters, I don't think any show should run past 5 seasons. That's my personal theory. I don't think any show should run past 5 seasons, in spite of the fact that some of my favorite seasons of television are post-season 5 shows. Like Better Call Saul and The Sopranos, their last seasons are so good, and yet I stand by my theory. 4 seasons max, realistically 3. We don't need a 15-season show. We do need consistency, and I did see them say in the same time they were like, we're getting 15 seasons. I did see them say that they're gonna do yearly releases, which like, I would fucking hope. There are 6 episodes a season, and mind you, Game of Thrones came out yearly. So, well, mostly. They skipped 1 year. But, like, it's just, that's a separate topic. I could complain about streaming culture and television all day long, because I do have a lot of thoughts about it. But for this show, it's good. Let's wrap up this show. Let's finish up what I'm actually talking about. I like the show. I like A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I don't think it's, like, high art. I don't think it's the best show that's going to be nominated for, like, of the new show cycle at this year's Emmys. This is no Pluribus. It's no The Pit, but like, it's good. I'm having a good time watching it, and I guess that's what matters. Anyway, that's all I got for this moment, so thank you so much for watching. I do love to come on here and yap about my silly little shows, and I believe the last show that I yapped about was Heated Rivalry. Oh, wait, actually, hold on. I have something to show you. Okay, wait. So, one of my besties was in town over the weekend because it was a long weekend. She brought me a present. She actually brought me 2 presents. Actually, it was 3. There were 3 things, but one of them isn't here. For starters, she got me Game Changer, because famously, I liked reading Game Changer more than Heated Rivalry, but I do have physical copies of Game Changer and Heated Rivalry. That is fully unrelated to this video, but I was reminded of it. And I had to show off my haul. That, like, she found these in a bookstore. And I'm so shocked that she found, really this one, but also this one. I'm so happy that I have these. I'm going to read the physical books now. But that's unrelated. We need to finish up talking about A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So, that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment your thoughts down below. Let me know how you feel. You can like, subscribe if you want to or don't. I'll be fine either way. In the description, I will put my Game of Thrones video. I want to say it's like 40 minutes. It's part character ranking, part me just like talking about my thoughts and feelings on the show. Again, I didn't like it very much, so do with that which you will. But either way, that will be in the description. You may watch it if you so choose. And yeah, thank you again for watching. Bye.